How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Ron Eade is the food critic with the column in the Ottawa Citizen.
Ottawa Citizen, I think.
Blogs as well, right?
Yes.
You blog.
Omnivores Ottawa, yes.
Yeah. You got all kinds of good things going on. What is the deal with this duck prosciutto? Like, what got you onto this now?
Well, years ago, a friend, Chef Johnny Lung, who's now at KWK doing it at the National Gallery, he did this duck prosciutto when he was at Earnscliffe. And it's basically, it's a prosciutto. The Italian prosciutto would be a leg of ham, pig, and they would cure it. It's a dry cure with salt. Salt is as old as time itself in terms of curing. It was obviously, we know that it was a preservative before refrigeration, that kind of thing. So what you're doing, this is a much accelerated prosciutto using raw duck breast, and so it's a very simple thing. You can do this at home.
I could do it.
Easy. So you see that at a restaurant, you think it's difficult. It isn't.
We need one breast of duck.
We have one breast of duck.
Yes.
And that's about a pound. It's an extremely large breast.
Yes. Then you score it.
You score it just a bit on the fat. Now, some people would pare down the fat. I don't, because I like it, because it comes out very buttery if you don't.
Yeah, that's the thing about the duck.
That's the nice thing about that's right. So it's very nice. It's very simple. But meanwhile, Kurt, if you wouldn't mind, we've got to grind up some spices.
What am I grinding?
Well, we have, first of all, we have a half a cup of kosher salt.
Yes.
And the reason we use kosher is because we don't want the anti-clotting agents and the iodine and whatever that comes in regular shape.
You got some brown sugar?
This is a half a cup of brown sugar.
And
How hard is that?
what am I chopping here?
Well, then you've got a half a cup of peppercorn, so we'll put that in.
In the coffee grinder?
In the coffee grinder. There's never seen coffee in my house, not that one.
No.
So grind up the peppercorns, and it all goes into the bucket.
In here?
Yeah.
You can take it right out of your coffee grinder.
Well, you'll get it,
Right?
Yes, that's right. And then you'll do that with the pepper.
More pepper in here?
The whole bunch. That's that's a half a cup of peppercorns.
All of this pepper?
That's it.
My Lord.
And I have a little thyme in here.
Right.
Oh, one more thing, Kurt.
What?
Throw in the bay leaf.
Oh, in here?
Yeah, just grind her all up. I've also got...
What?
I've got a tablespoon of just ordinary pickling spice that you can get at any grocery store.
Right.
And that's as hard as it gets. Now this is the dry cure. We're going to put the pepper in there.
How much happened to
well, whatever. Anyways, and we're going to mix.
That's a lot of pepper.
But it's a cure. It's not like you're going to be eating it all. Look, the fragrance. Isn't that amazing?
It is. It's beautiful.
It's peppery.
Yes.
So then we take our duck breast.
Okay, what do we do with it?
Well, I've scored it.
Right.
And I've patted it dry. And that's as hard as it's going to get. And you rub it in really well.
Okay, so you coat the whole thing with as much of that gear as you can get on it?
Well, then what I would do is I would put it in a container like this, dump it all over. Now, this is actually too much. It's made for 2 duck breasts.
Oh, okay.
So this is actually a recipe for 2.
Okay.
Then I would put the lid on, refrigerate that 24 hours. Bing.
Just like that?
That's as hard as it gets.
Right.
You take it out of the fridge. The next day, you rinse it off. Pat it dry with a paper towel.
Put it in cheesecloth?
Put it in cheesecloth like that. Get that in any grocery store. Duck breast, incidentally, is at any good butcher.
Yeah.
I've seen it at Farm Boy. They sell it regularly.
Yeah.
You tie it up with butcher twine. Very simple.
Butcher twine.
Yes.
And then you hang it.
And then you hang it.
Looks like this.
In the fridge for 2 weeks.
You hang it off one of the racks in the fridge?
If you can. If you cannot.
For 2 weeks.
That's it. That's it. And if you don't have a rack in the fridge, you can use a rack that you would use for a roast and flip it every day.
Okay.
Simple.
And then what happens? After 2 weeks, you take it out?
You take it out, and you've got this. It's a completely cured, completely prosciuttoized.
You want to cut me a piece of that?
I will indeed.
Would you mind? Look at this beautiful thing.
And look at that. It's completely cured, and it's like butter. You want to slice it thin like you would prosciutto?
Exactly.
It's completely... And it's unbelievable.
Then you put it on a cracker?
You can put it on a cracker. It's really good with fig or melon. Something with some acid in it to balance the mellow. It's like butter.
That's delicious.
Amazing. How hard is that? Now, you go to a restaurant and see this, and you'll say, whoa, isn't this wonderful? And it is wonderful. But guess what?
At home.
How hard is that?
That's awesome.
And the recipe should be on your website.
Ron Eade is the food critic for the Ottawa Citizen. What's your blog called again?
Omnivores Ottawa.
Omnivores Ottawa. That's good stuff, my friend.
Isn't it? And it's how hard was it?
So I guess I'll see you at the next thing we judge.
Well, I'm going to be at the Carrefour chocolate competition on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm going to be emceeing the Ottawa Traveler Show with food demos. So
8:15. CTV Morning Live continues.